Welcome to the Brady Marcs Podcast with your host Brady Yashia from Brady Marcs Buyers Advisory. Enjoy discussions with a variety of guests and pioneers from diverse backgrounds, each sharing their unique perspectives on property, business, industry, and more.
This week, I'm talking with a fellow business founder and marketing guru, Chris Melotti. Chris is a message marketing strategist and founder of Melotti Media, an award-winning marketing and copywriting business. Chris has previously worked as a marketing manager in the real estate arena. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, Brady.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you here today.
Likewise. I'm really excited. I've got sparkling water and everything.
Yes. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about your business and what you do? It's full on.
So to speak.
Yes.
Absolutely. So as Brady has said, my name is Christopher Melotti. I am the founder and head copywriting specialist and message marketer of Melotti Media. We've just launched my second brand, christophermelotti.com.au. Very creative, but it's more the consulting side. So as the agency side, Melotti Media is really pioneering the whole message strategy solution, which is really about helping brands articulate their value to customers, which is something that people take for granted and struggle with. And I've seen this all the time we've got, business startups and we've got tech developers, who are very great with their product, but don't know how to create demand for it, all the way to service providers and product specialists. So we've got, so many clients we work with, governments, and it's basically trying to help pick their brain. I hear all the time, these businesses, they go, I've got it all in my head. Or you've got Nancy who has one section, John who has another. You've got all these people that have all their parts, it's in their head, and they need someone to come in, consult and get it out and then put it into a document that they can all use. That's kind of where it would play.
It's so important to have the right brand strategy.
Definitely.
From beginning, and then the journey evolves.
Yes.
How did you start Melotti Media?
Oh gosh, let's delve. Look, I worked in agency, so marketing agencies for a long time, and that sort of developed my creative flair and an approach in that sort of sense. And I was doing that for a couple of years, and I found I was studying my master's in commercial law at that time. And it was a combination of both. I was really intrigued by the whole advertising side, but then there was when I was doing my master's in commercial law, we had to write 30,000 word assignments, and they would give it to you in the first week, and then you would have to deliver it in week 13. And you had to develop your style. And it was doing that for 2 years where I just found this love for writing and articulation and getting message across. And so I started my business. It was a side hustle. I didn't think much of it. It was just there. And suddenly I started to pick up clients, and then I did a bit of work for them, and then they told everyone, and then suddenly I had a full-time job and then a full-time job at night doing Melotti Media. And so in 2017, my boss, who was an entrepreneur at the time, he encouraged me. He was like, you got to go for this. Like, your business is already profitable. Like, no one really says that. Usually you have to give up everything and start from scratch. And he's like, you've already got this business that's working. And so I started it, and then the rest is history. And it's evolved. Like, from where I was talking to my team just this morning, and where it was to where it is today is so different. And I'm really thankful for that.
I love it. A side hustle that becomes a multi-award-winning business.
Yeah.
I mean, a huge credit to you.
Thank you.
At Brady Marcs, we're very fortunate to work with you. So we know firsthand how creative and innovative you are.
Yes.
What have been your most significant career milestones, changes, or experiences that have brought you to where you are today?
Oh, look, there's been many. I would say, it was going full time. Like, and I know you probably think, well, that's what you do in business, but making that leap is really scary. Like, when I had the business, despite it being profitable, I remember going to iron my shirts on a Sunday for the following Monday and realizing I didn't have to go to work, like as in to that previous work.
Yeah.
That was really scary. So facing that fear like head on was fascinating, because it was like suddenly, if I don't get work, there's no money coming in. But then that drives a real entrepreneurial spirit. Like you get this like sense of I have to make this work, and that is you just can't bottle that. That was a fantastic experience. So that was that. Hiring my first employee was incredibly rewarding because it was like I remember. It was like, what am I going to do with this person? Like, I remember thinking, how am I going to use them? Like, they're not going to have a full-time job. And then suddenly they get in and you know, I'm sure you've been there, Brady, is they just get packed fully, you know, because you're like, oh, I can give them that too. And suddenly they're like, Chris, stop. Like, and so that was another one. Hiring my sister as a managing director was definitely the best decision I've ever made. And the reason why is because she was in events and she lost her job during COVID. And it was like, and she came on board to just basically give me a little bit of a hand. And from there, she was like the yin to my yang because I was out like doing all the boisterous like meetings and all of that. And all the admin coordination of that was put that all together. Yeah. And it was just, it just made the business work flawlessly. And today, like we've had so many meetings this week, and it's just this like banter between us. We challenge each other. We've got a great rapport, and it is just the best thing. I mean, I could go on. Like, I was honoured to work with the Australian Bureau of Statistics when they asked me to come down there and present to their marketing team. And today now they use a lot of the techniques that I taught them then. It was winning last year. We won the Business Champion Award.
Congratulations!
Thank you for Australia for copywriting, which was a huge honour. So there's been many. Yeah. Was that a few?
Yeah. Well, having a team is so important.
Oh, big time.
And I have to say, from a personal experience, hiring your first employee is a game changer.
Oh, and I know it's not always positive for everybody, but like it is. It's a game changer because it shifts the way that you think, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned earlier, you did work in the real estate space.
Yes, proudly.
Tell us a little bit about what you did and your thoughts on the real estate market. Well, not essentially where the market is at the moment, but working in the real estate market.
Yes, absolutely. So I just before I started, I moved to my full-time business. I was working for a Sydney real estate agency, and they had 5 offices, and they actually headhunted me. And I remember thinking, I love property and I've got several investment properties, but I remember thinking why me? Like, why did they want me? Because I'd come from pharma. So my background was pharma marketing. Oh, okay. And then they headhunted me, and then we had the interview, and they were really keen, and I came on board, and it was fascinating to see how it's come a long way, real estate in marketing. But back then, I think I got the job was around 2015, 16. Back then it was very primitive compared to what it is now. And I'm just saying them. I remember introducing iPads to the team, and I introduced automation and all these things. And it was so interesting because the agents, even in their 20s, were just like pad and pen. And I remember they were selling $6 to $7 million houses, and they had this pad and pen, and they were scratching away. And there's nothing wrong with pad and pen, but I remember they were going, God, that Chris is like he's harping on about the iPad again, and he's harping on about this technology, until it was like 6 months in, and I remember one of the agents went, I went to an open last week, and I signed someone in, and then I went to the next one, and they were already signed in, and then it was sending them all the SMSs about all the follow-ups, and I went home and I could spend time with my family rather than do all the admin after. And I was like, there we go, hallelujah. And then the best part was, then they all adopted it. So it's thinking back only a couple of years ago of how like people didn't see automation and things and all of that as very relevant. And today now it's digital everywhere. And so it was really rewarding in that role because I was able to really my biggest achievement in that one was showing how powerful marketing can be.
So you had the foresight.
Yeah, I did. And it's funny, I know everyone listening is going to think, God, he talks about a lot of what, but I actually won an award from the Australian Marketing Institute for my role there. And it's not, I'm not bringing that to gloat. The reason why I won that award.
I'm just going to say, you need to be proud. You need to be proud.
It's just the reason why I bring it up is because I beat out Telstra and all these like Qantas and all these. And the reason why is they said that I was a really strong advocate for marketing in what was then an industry that wasn't very big on marketing. Like if anyone from the real estate world is listening now, thinking back 5 to 10 years, the marketing person was an admin. Like it was
Correct.
literally like the agent would come back and go, here's my photos, here's it, put it in the pamphlet, put it up on the website, and be done. Whereas I came in and I was like, I'm the marketing officer. Like my job is to build the brand, build the technology, build the automation. And it was so unheard of. And I'm so thankful to my boss at the time, Steve Devine, who actually went with it. Like he was afraid. He was like, I don't know what we're doing here, but he trusted me. And to this day, we're still good friends because of that.
That's fabulous. So I was going to bring this in later, but I'm going to bring it in now. So AI. AI, and it's going to play a very big role moving forward in the real estate world.
Huge.
What do you think is going to be an important aspect for all people in real estate? Doesn't matter if you're a property manager, buyer's agent, or a selling agent.
Yep. Oh, gosh, what a question. Boom. Okay. The first thing I'm going to say is you can't fight it. It's here. It's going to stay, and it's only going to grow. So I would say, and bringing back to my days in the real estate agency world, doing marketing, is I remember when the real estate and domain first entered. And I remember that some agents went, I'm not doing that. I refuse. And some of the agents embraced it. And I remember saying to them, embrace it and adapt to it, because if you don't, you're going to be left behind. And that's exactly what happened. Is the agents that were like, we don't do real estate and domain, they were the ones that struggled, and the ones that embraced it and made it part of their campaigns absolutely shone, because they were there online and they were there in paper and they were there everywhere. So my advice to everyone now is the same thing. This is that next step, and I'm not saying that you have to just blindly follow it, but you've got to embrace it. And it's not just one thing. There's so many different aspects of AI, and it's changing everything. And I would say research. Research is the number one, because I think that the world, it's very overwhelming and there's a lot of things that can happen. So I would say with AI, embrace it, but do your research. And that's what we're doing. Every industry is doing at the moment.
Yeah. Brilliant advice. And it's fascinating.
Oh, it's huge. Like it's evolving so rapidly, but I feel sorry, we can just go on forever. This, so just stop me if you need to. But like,
keep going, and I'll jump into the next one.
I mean, when it first came out in November 2022, there was this huge like incline in interest, and it was just everywhere. And talk. Now and then, it's having. They call it something. It's a bit of a slump at the moment. There's like a technological adoption rate, and it goes up, and it's all there, and then it goes through a slump, and then it becomes normalized. And I feel like we're going through the slump at the moment, just because people are getting it and they're going, what do I do with it? And I think that we're going through that, and then it's going to go through this phase where people just integrate it. And that will be in the next year or two. And that's where I see it coming.
I think it's about people not being scared of it.
No.
That's what it is. So just adapting to using the technology.
There's a lot of good things, but you can't just go AI and us. You've got to go, how are we going to use AI?
Yeah.
I think that's the difference.
Yeah. Good
It's
point.
huge, right?
Yeah, it is huge.
Well, I could do another podcast on this, but yeah, we'll save it for now.
So prior to meeting us at Brady Marcs,
yes,
you used a buyer's agent.
I did.
And you bought a property. So I'll let you off this time.
Yes, please. I have another one on the way, and it's yours, I promise.
Wait, can't wait. Could you tell us what your experience was with working with a buyer's agent, and what you think about potential clients looking to, potential buyers, I should say, looking to use a buyer's agent?
Oh, look. Get ready for the gush, but I will temper it with my journey. So I loved working with a buyer's agent. And the reason why is because it was just such a relief. So when we first started looking, so my partner and myself, we were looking for a house around the late 2019 mark. And we were looking, and we, like everyone would probably think before they get an agent, is they go, oh, I'm fine. I know what I'm doing. I can look on domain and real estate. I can find these properties. I can rock up. Then what happens is, like we've discussed, Brady, is buyer's fatigue. Right, and it's so many aspects of it. So you've got when you're going every single Saturday, that weighs on you. When you're getting trumped by other bidders. You know, you go in and you go, I'm going to bid up to 1.8. And then someone comes in and goes 1.9. And you go, oh, I can go 1.91. And then you lose control. That causes buyer fatigue. When you constantly cannot find the right home, or you find yourself negotiating. All of this was happening. We were facing this. Every Saturday, we were just exhausted. We were just like, oh, I can't see one more bedroom. I can't, I can't see. And the other thing was, I can't see any more compromises. Like you look and you go, that one has no backyard, but the location is great. I think I can work with this. And then you realize you're bidding for something that you don't truly want. That's when we met this buyer's agent and we discussed with him what we were doing. And then we heard the price, right? And I know we've discussed this, is as most people do, they go, oh my gosh, I'm spending 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, whatever it is you're spending on a home, and you go, that fee on top. See, when it's reversed and you're selling, it doesn't matter because you go, I'm selling, I'm making money. The agent fee will wash into that. Whereas when you're buying, it's like you're getting hit twice. But we very soon realized it was completely worth every single dollar because they were out there checking all the things, checking us. They were taking all the fatigue away. And they secured this house. We were at a wedding. We weren't even at the auction, and they secured it. And I remember we were waiting, like getting changed, ready for this wedding. And we were like, "What's happened? What's happened? What's happened?" And then he called and said, "Congratulations, you've won." And it was just such a relief. And then he sat there and did all the paperwork. We were away. We transferred the money. He sorted it all out. And it was just the fact that. Sorry, I could go on. Do you want me to stop?
No, that's fine. Keep going.
Well,
okay.
It was everything. It was literally everything. It was going to an auction and having a bodyguard, right? Like as soon as those agents, they all know your buyer's agent, right? So as soon as you walk in with a buyer's agent, they go, Chris is serious, right? There's no games. They know you've got a bodyguard who knows exactly all the games, everything like that. So they're advocating for you alone. So you've got this backup. I remember. He walked around and go, like, so while you're looking going, oh, this could be a lovely home. Smell that candle, right? He's like beyond that candle. He's looking and going, there's water damage here. And he'd walk over and step on and go, that's loose. Yeah. And he'd go, that seems like it's got termites. Right. And so then we'd pay for a pest inspection, and he would go there and go, I think there's pests. They spot everything, right? I'm not telling you anything, you know it. But it was just everything. And even future, he would say, careful, this might block your view in the future, or that might impede on the sale in the future. And it was just all like you go in and you think you know what you're doing and you just don't. You know about 5 of the 50 things that they're checking.
Yes. So buyer's agents go in with eagle eyes. And they give you peace of mind.
It is. And look, it is a bit frustrating because you're going, this is the perfect home. and they'll go, sewage smell, but you're thankful. You're 100% thankful because they pick up. You know, they see all these things.
We train. As a buyer's agent myself,
yes.
I know. I've seen hundreds of thousands of properties, so I know exactly what to spot straight away.
And what do you usually spot?
Oh, we will spot exactly what you're talking about now. We go in, we look beyond the emotion. Mm-hmm. Of course, you've got to go in and have a look and notice that it looks beautiful and things like that, but we look beyond that.
And that's what it is. I mean, I remember my partner, he got so consumed with the emotion that I remember we found this home and I didn't like it. It was just wrong for so many reasons, but he was so fatigued that he was like, just keep bidding. Yeah. And the buyer's agent said, stop, you need to stop, because we went up a little bit and then he went, Chris, like you, at this point, you're overpaying for something that does not fit the brief. And thank God he pulled us out of that, because we probably would have bought it. Yeah. And it was wrong. It was completely wrong. Like there was no fences for the dogs. It was no brief. The brief was off brief. And then when we found this current home, we just like every day, we've been in there now for over 2 years. And I think every day I'm like, thank God we got this home. It's perfect in every way.
Yeah. So using a buyer's agent prevention is better than cure.
Oh, and when you're spending we spent $2 million. That's not small money. Like
no,
like if you buy the wrong Mars bar flavor, you know, you're like, oh well, I can live with that, right? But if you buy a home, you usually have that for 10 to 20 years, and you don't want that to be a regret for 20 years, because the problem is your pride will get in the way. which I probably would, and you'd go, no, this is fine, right? But it's a big investment, and let's say that you do regret it. Like you've got to fix that or sell it. And imagine trying to do that whole process again. And I can give you an example if you want me to keep going.
One more example.
Yeah, right. You've got to keep under control. Across the road from us, we bought our home, and across the road was another couple that bought about a week later, and they actually missed our home because we had a buyer's agent, right? They missed out, and they bought across the road, and they are now going through extensive renovations because they didn't get a buyer's agent to check and do all the vigilance things. So they realized all their beams were all termite. They didn't know. And so they had to fix all these things. So they've had to pay all this extra money and all this thing. So
it can become very expensive.
It's not worth it. Get the buyer's agent.
That's right. So, Chris, you have got the most amazing energy. Where does it come from?
I really don't know. I really don't. Like, if I sleep more, I get more lethargic. So it's better for me to sleep. I don't know. I can't work it out. Doctors can't work. I have no idea. I think it's extroversion is pulling it from everywhere, and it just manifests and coalesces in my body. I guess I don't know. It just comes naturally, so I just let it go.
Fair enough. And are there any mentors in your life that have really stood out, and why? What is it?
Good question. I like that question. Yes, a lot of my old bosses from my corporate world have definitely stood out, and they've been a mixture of men and women. And one of my bosses from one of my previous jobs said something which was really good. She said, take all the best qualities of all your bosses that you like, and amalgamate them into what you are. And I'm so glad for that feedback, because that's exactly what I've done. Is I look at the way my management style is now, and I look at it and I went, that boss saw the importance of having weekly meetings to discuss with everything. So I'm going to apply that. This boss had an open door policy within limits, right? Where you had to figure it out yourself, but the door was always open. So I took that. Investing in my team was another manager. So all of those have come together, and it's been a great thing for me, because like we just did vision boards with my team last week where we united the vision of their individual.
I love a good vision board.
I never really thought much of it. And she was like, she taught Canva, and she was like, let's do it with your team. So I got them in, and I had all these team members in there, and we all did our own vision boards. And it was fascinating what came out of that. And it was the team felt so refreshed and invigorated because we were able to do that. So I'm big on developing. So back to the question was, a few of the mentors have been my previous bosses that have just been really good to me and encouraged me to do my business and encouraged me to grow. And so there's not one person, it's sort of a group of people. And I still talk to pretty much all of them today.
Fabulous. So I'm sure there's something you're happy to share with the listeners today that only people close to you know about you. Is there something you want to share with us?
No, look, I wear my heart on my sleeve, so you pretty much do know everything. Look, as I said, I'm going to an audition for a musical tonight, which most people won't be really surprised. So no, like I share all aspects of my life within reason because I'm proud of them. Right, I'm proud to be married to my husband Scott, who's my rock. When in my world of crazy, like you've got the rock there. I'm proud to be a foster parent. So there's not so much I can say here, but I'm a proud foster parent, and we've opened up our home, which was part of the brief to the buyer's agent, was to have a big home for kids.
Yeah. And
so we've done that. Very close to my family. I love my family very, very much, and we're very close, especially my sister who works for me. Yeah. So I'm pretty much an open book in terms of, is there anything you wanted to know?
Those are all amazing things.
Yeah.
And I really feel that being a foster parent is something special, and not everyone can do it. So
yeah. And it's definitely a roller coaster. And being a workaholic, like a self-confessed workaholic, it gives perspective. I think that's what it is. So, in the morning, it's like I don't just get up and go straight to work. I get up and, make sure the kids have gone to the bathroom, and like I'm sure all the parents are relating, doing the breakfast, packing their lunches, getting them prepared and dressed, sunscreen, teeth. It's all that sort of stuff. Then it's they go off walking the dogs, and like which we foster as well. So we've got foster dogs as well, and we walk the dog. Then it's like I start my day, and then walking the dogs in the middle, then picking the kids up at night. Taking them to swimming, sports and all that. It's given, and it's fun because it's reintroduced a sense of play. I think is one of my coaches. She said, you've got to make sure that you have a sense of play in your life as an adult, because if you don't, you become that bitter, like always focused on things. So having the kids there allows me to let that out a little bit,
have fun.
And have fun. I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm the stern parent. I know
picked that.
You wouldn't, right? But
No.
I am the stern parent. But I balance that with, after they've eaten and they've all cleaned up and washed their hands. I'll get down on the ground and, they'll jump on my back and, and we'll have a bit of fun. I'll pick them up and they love it, right? And they just, because they're young, and they ask. They go, Chris, can we play with you after, like instead of watching TV and things? So it's been a nice perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. So I know that you have got a beautiful voice and you sing.
Yes.
Are you open to singing something for us now?
What would you like? I can't do the audition thing tonight because I still need to learn it properly. Okay. I did a song last year called She Cries. Okay.
This is very exciting.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
There's a couple of things I've learned on the many roads I've taken. Flames will not get you burned. It's a cold in the ice. Here's a piece of advice that I got from a little bird. The flames can get you stirred, but it's the cold that leaves you shaken.
Wow, I love it. Thank you so much.
That was fun. No, it's that I remember I got COVID before we were getting on stage. And we were just about to get on stage and we all got COVID. The whole cast got wiped out. And then we had to do it the week after. And so I remember we were singing properly.
Yes.
And then you get off and everyone was like eucalyptus and all that to get everyone back. But on stage, the adrenaline picks up. So
that was awesome.
Thank you.
So if any of our listeners want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to get in touch?
Yeah, best way is, as I mentioned, I've got the melottimedia.com.au website, or it's got the fancy.au as well. You can just say melottimedia.au, but it's also christophermelotti.com.au as well. So the Melotti Media is more the agency. So it's still me, but we do more of the copywriting, message strategy, message articulation, that kind of thing with the team of 10 that I've got. The Christopher Melotti website is more like one-on-one consulting. So I do a lot of business coaching, marketing coaching, marketing audits, bespoke teaching classes. So it's all of that side. So I had to separate them because the Melotti Media stuff was kind of hiding my consulting behind it, and people weren't even sure that I could book me in. So now it's separate so that there's both. And it's really exciting. I'm really excited to work one-on-one with people.
Thank you so much for joining me
Brady.
today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for the interview. It was really fun.
You're welcome.
Thanks.